next guest is a Juno-nominated Indigenous roots rocker, activist, and author.
And he's joining us today to tell about his brand new album entitled Precious Diamonds. Please welcome to the show, Adrian Sutherland. Congratulations, we're thrilled. And let's start with the lead single on the album, which is called Notawe, and it's written in your first language, Cree. So what sort of significance does that hold for you?
Well, I think for me it's important as a language speaker to write songs in my language, to do my part in trying to preserve the language, and there are a lot of people out there trying to reconnect with their roots, and I'm just doing my part as an artist to try to help that whole process.
That's amazing. Now, you're one of the only professional recording artists in Canada who lives in a northern fly-in First Nation, and you're from Attawapiskat. So tell us about the career challenges that come with living in a remote community and creating music that you want to put out to the masses.
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is location. Obviously, I'm so remote. There's no roads in there, so you have to fly in to get there and fly out. So it's always a challenge to get even to Toronto, you know, and it's expensive to travel out of there. So, so location, yes, definitely very, very challenging. And you're so disconnected. It feels like you can feel so far away and disconnected from the music industry. And you feel kind of lonely and sort of isolated, you know, being so far away from some of the bigger centers that, you know, everybody's sort of have opportunities to play in different venues and stuff like that. And up there, I don't have any venues to play in and get in front of people, so it can be challenging.
Awesome. You just mentioned something about expensive, things being costly. I know travel is very costly. So tell me if this is correct. You came up with a solution to record and produce your music from your own backyard. How did you come up with that idea, and what's that process like for you? Well,
my manager and I talked about how we were going to continue to stay engaged all throughout the pandemic. And obviously no one was traveling, everybody was in lockdown mode. And I wanted to find a way to continue to create and record, so we had the sea container that had come into possession, and we turned that into a studio. So once we did that, we had to get all the hardware and then all the software, learn how to use it all. Wow. And yeah, we built that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was if there were any silver linings and all of that during that whole time, being locked up there in the north, you know, one of the saving graces, you know, we're having a space to go into and to do music.
Well, again, I kind of go back to, like, how do you get all that stuff into your community? I think about the flying in again, and there have been a lot of First Nations communities that say, listen, airlines are failing us as a fly-in community. What are your thoughts on this? How can this change and get better?
Well, I think there definitely needs to be a better service, there's got to be affordability. I mean, you know, one skid of supplies could cost you $5,000.
What?
Which is just outrageous. It's so expensive. So yeah, we're so underserviced up there, and I think a lot of times we're being taken advantage of. It kind of feels that way, and it's frustrating. We don't get our stuff in a timely manner.
Right.
You could be waiting, you know, weeks for something to come through the mail. I mean, it's getting better, but I certainly feel like things could be done a lot more timely, and affordability is obviously another big challenge.
I think we could all complain about the rising cost of groceries here, but I've read, like, in the north, sometimes it's upwards of $700 a week.
Exactly. I mean, you know, I know a lot of Canadians are grappling with the rising costs of groceries and living costs. But we mean that's nothing new to Indigenous communities, especially in the far north. We've been living under those types of conditions for as long as I can remember.
Another issue in a lot of Indigenous communities is clean drinking water. And I understand back in 2022, you posted a video of yourself collecting safe drinking water for your family. And I'm just curious, what are the conditions like today?
Well, we have 2 dispensaries in the community that the entire community shares. That's for our drinking water, so we'll collect them in 5-gallon canisters, and my family alone, we could run up to 12 canisters per day just for our own needs. But the water that actually comes from the faucet is not safe for human consumption. It's got contaminants in it from the treatment process, so yeah, it's not a good situation to be in, and water, you know, being so important, and it's, you know, we need it to live, you know. It's one of the most important things for all creation, to have access to that clean water.
So then what needs to change? I'm curious, have you ever had clean drinking water out of a tap in your community?
Never, no.
In your whole life?
No.
That's embarrassing.
So what needs to change? If the government is watching, we know this has been front news stories forever and nothing seems to be changing.
Yeah, I'm not, I think, well, first of all, if it's an issue of capital, I think surely we can come up with, you know, enough capital to fix the infrastructure. Right now, we're at capacity. We can't even build a new subdivision. We can't tie any more houses into the current water treatment waste management facility. So I think if it's an issue of capital, surely we can find a way to raise that capital and you know, address those needs. I think that's one area. I mean, surely we're a G7 country, and I think surely we can figure this water issue out once and for all.
Great point to end on. Adrian, thank you so much for stopping by. Everywhere to listen to his music.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.